Hello everyone and welcome to another flight featuring the Airbus A380. We are back in Sydney, Australia today, and we are going to do a rather short one, which is a route segment that is flown by Emirates from Sydney to Christchurch, New Zealand. This is a segment of the route from Dubai to Sydney to Christchurch, which I believe is about 17 hours or so, which is then broken down into a 15-hour more or less flight from Dubai to Sydney, and then another 3-hour flight from Sydney to Christchurch, New Zealand. Today we are only going to do the short segment, which is a Sydney to Christchurch. Today we have got this nice Emirates livery for the Real Madrid football team. Emirates has been, of course, the sponsor for the Real Madrid team for quite a while now, and I found this nice livery of it from flightsim.to, which is rather nice and unique. We've already done some of the pre-flights. As you can see, we are loading the passengers and the cargos at the moment. Passengers, of course, boarding through the jetway, so we can't see them now, but otherwise all is in order. Refueling is already done as well, so we're just waiting for the boarding to complete, and then the catering services can start as well. Don't know why the catering service not running parallel to the boarding process, but that is fine. What can you do? 15 Champions League badge over there on the aircraft, which is a nice touch. We are on the VATSIM network today, but it being very late in Australian or Sydney local time, there are no air traffic controllers online, and I think there are no other aircrafts here on the network. The aircraft that you can see, I believe, are static aircrafts that come with the scenery of the airport, which is also quite a nice touch. Okay, I think that is okay. Weather is looking rather interesting today. Clouds almost overcast, so we'll just have to brief up on the weather in a short while, but I'm hoping that the weather in Christchurch is going to be a little bit better or similar to what we have right now. Then the visibility can be nice on the arrival. Okay, let's get back onto the flight deck and continue setting up our flight. Okay, here we are. We have already imported everything from SimBrief, so let's just quickly brief our operational flight plan for today. We are Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet from Sydney Kingsford to Christchurch, New Zealand. It's going to be about 3-hour flight. Cost index today is 78, with an average wind component that is a tailwind. Alternate today is going to be Auckland, which I believe is the closest airport that can handle an aircraft to the size, the Airbus A380. Cruising altitude today, flight level 390, and says that this is an ETOPS flight, which I don't know if that is the case, seeing that this is a 4-engine aircraft, but no need to dwell on that. Block fuel today is going to be 47.6 tons, which we have just rounded up to 47.7 tons. Okay, then in terms of the routing, we're going to take off from runway 07 today, direct Cowley, no seat, headed into our direction, and then our arrival is going to be on the Bel Air 6 Bravo arrival with the Vanda transition for runway 20 into Christchurch. Passengers today 302, cargo 6, payload is going to be 31.4 tons. That gives us a takeoff weight of about 378 tons. That is all good. Then we can do a quick weather briefing. NOTAMs. Actually, I think we scrolled a little bit too far, but that's fine. Here's the weather briefing. Kingsford, wind 050 degrees, 12 knots. It is rather windy as we saw outside. Visibility 10 kilometers with scattered clouds 2100, broken at 2600, and overcast at 3200. Temperature 20, QNH 1021. And then our destination, Christchurch. It is rather windy there as well, 10 knots at the moment, variable direction, visibility is good. We have some clouds there. It is rather cold, 7 degrees. We are expecting some temporary showers, temporary forecast here showing showers as well. I don't know whether we'll find that by the time we get there, but that is fine. Alternate is Auckland, which is more or less the same weather actually. So yeah, that should be fine. So then we can just go back into the, you can go to our MCDU and start prepping. So let's see now. We have it here imported. Emirates for Hotel Juliet from Sydney to Christchurch with alternate Auckland, flight level 3900, so cruising altitude, cost index 78. Trip wind, we said that it is a tailwind, which is 0 to 4. And there we have it. Okay, then instead of, in terms of the routing, we said we are going to take off from runway 17. We don't have a SID, and our arrival is going to be runway 20 with the ILS. We're going to take the ILS, and we are going to take the Bele 6 Bravo with the Vanda transition. And we're going to insert that, and then we can quickly have a look at it on the navigation display. So straight out, let's see, straight out Cowley, and then we continue on our route, and then our arrival is going to be on the ILS, so 3000, 2000. That means this discontinuity, we can actually remove it, and then we can insert that. This will be of course a vector, but we do not have ATC online. Okay, then we can have a look at the weights. Zero fuel weight. Actually, I'm just gonna copy it off screen here, not off screen but here on the screen here. Are we able to see the payload data here? Some of it is obscured. Okay. Right. So payload. Zero fuel weight is 331.4. 331.4. Zero fuel weight. Center of gravity is 35.6. And then block fuel, we said that it is obscured. Fuel 47.7, which is 47.7 loaded. Actually, while we are here, let's switch on the APU bleed. So 47.7. Okay, then route reserve fuel is 2.6, which you can't change. Alternate fuel is 12.1 to Auckland. Final reserve is 4.6 actually, and that is fine. 23 minutes of extra fuel on arrival. Okay, looks like boarding of the passengers is completed, and right now it's only catering services that is running. Let's have a look outside and see. Okay, seems like catering is also done, so we are pretty much ready to go then.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
This parking is not too small for our aircraft because it's one of the parkings that I checked that is able to accommodate an A380. Alright, we don't have a seat chart today, so there's really no chart there to check on the departure. Next thing we can do is to do our takeoff performance calculation, which we are going to go performance, and we are going to use the SimBrief takeoff performance calculator off screen here at Sydney. You're going to take off from runway 07. Our gross weight for today is 379,100. 379,100. Get the weather information and calculate. She said is QNH 1021. Okay, performance is 129 for V1, and then 141 for rotation, and 150 for V2. It's going to be a flex takeoff with the 64 as temperature assumed. And then we are going to have the packs on and anti-ice off. Okay, trimmable horizontal stabilizer is 36 today. Let's just check on the load sheet as well. It's 35.98, 36, pretty much the same, so 36.0. And there we have it. Thrust reduction, and acceleration altitude, I'm going to keep them as they are. Flaps 1 configuration, and that is that. While we are here, we can close the cargo doors and ask for pushback. We have the APU on. We can disconnect the external power, switch on the beacon light, and ask GSX for pushback. Okay, cockpit preparation checklist. Gas pins and covers are removed. Fuel quantity is confirmed, 47,700 kilos. Seatbelt sign is on. Barometer is set. QNH 1021, which you must set also on the standby instrument, and cockpit preparation checklist is complete. Before startup checklist, parking brake is set. Takeoff speed and thrust is calculated 129, 141, 150. Flaps 1, flex 64. And that is before startup checklist complete. Are all the doors closed? Yes, all the doors are closed.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Okay, so let's see how we are going to push back now. We are at stand 57, and we are going to take off from runway 07,
Locking gear.
which is rather very close. So we're going to do a nose left pushback rather. So this is runway 07. We are going to push back here and then just continue straight out for the departure, which is rather nice for today. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. Okay.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
Continue the pushback. And first we're going to announce ourselves on the VATSIM network, of course, just in case someone connected. So we are going to say Sydney traffic, Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet is pushing back from stand number 57 onto Golf. Sydney traffic. That's going to be a nose left today.
Release parking brakes, please.
And parking brake
Commencing
is
push.
released and we are going to
All
close
engines
the
clear.
door.
Start at will.
Let's hope that GSX is going to do a nice pushback today. I can already see it doing something strange. We don't have a profile for this airport, of course, and yeah, you get to experience a couple of strange things when you don't have a GSX profile and you are pushing back from a stand that is apparently not so straightforward. Let's just hope that it doesn't slam our aircraft into anything. We need to check it very closely. In any case, let's go and start our engines. So start sequence today is 3, 4 and then 1 and 2. So ignition start and engines 4 and 3 on. This is an interesting pushback. It isn't on Golf anymore, but actually it's not too bad.
Please set parking brakes.
I'll take that. Parking brake is set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Yeah, still starting up. We don't have an initial climb altitude since we don't have ATC on here and we don't have a SID. What we are going to do as well is we are going to put our transponder onto auto, and then with that we are good. Actually, we announced ourselves on the network, but I wonder if anyone heard us. VHF is not on by default in this aircraft. Okay, engines 3 and 4 are on. We can start 2 and 1 and release the tug.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Okay, lowering the aircraft and disconnecting the tug.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Okay, good.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Okay, engines 1 and 2 are also available, so ignition back to normal, and we can have the APU off. And with that, we can do the after start checklist. Anti-ice, not required. Pitch trim, we need it to be at 36. So let's see now. That's going to be 36%. And now it looks like it's running away. It's probably one of the bugs that they need to fix. Okay, there we have it, 36. And then runner trim is on neutral, and that is after start checklist complete. Okay, then flight control check. Ailerons full left, full right, neutral. Elevators full down, full up, neutral. Rudder pedals full left, full right, neutral. Flight controls are checked. Okay, and with that we are pretty much ready to go. So taxi light on, wing light can come on as well, runway turn-off light can come on, and we are ready to taxi to the runway. We are going to the Golf 1 holding point for today. So we are going to taxi, going to make a right hand turn, and then via Golf 1 we actually rather go through a hotel and then Golf 1. So let's announce ourselves on the network then. Sydney traffic, Emirates for Hotel Juliet is taxiing to holding point Golf 1 runway 07 via Yankee and Hotel. Sydney traffic. So parking brakes off, add a bit of thrust, left is clear, right is clear. And we can then set our other takeoff data. Flaps 1, spoilers armed, auto brake set to rejected takeoff, and we can do a takeoff configuration, which will not work of course now because of the flaps that still need to extend. Full left, full right is all good, and we are going to make a right hand turn here. This is of course a very massive aircraft. Have to do some oversteer now to make sure that it stays on the center line, but that can be quite a challenge. Okay, I think the flaps are in position now. We can do takeoff configuration test. Everything is normal. Taxi checklist. Flight controls are checked, flaps are on, radar is on, and takeoff seatbelt sign is on. Ground spoilers are armed, flaps are set for takeoff, auto brake, rejected takeoff, takeoff config normal. Taxi checklist complete. Clear right side, clear left side, and we are going to have to hold short here. Okay, lineup checklist. It's going to be line up runway 07. Just saw it there. 07 is confirmed. PAX cabin crew is advanced. PAX 1 and 2 on. Lineup checklist complete. And with that, we can switch our transponder to Tara. Switch on the landing lights, strobe lights as well, and then nose wheel lights to take off, and we can announce ourselves on the network. Let's just make
Sydney traffic 163 super, taxiing to holding point Alpha 634 left via Alpha crossing runway 07 and Alpha 6, Sydney.
I think that aircraft we need to check now, because okay, I think they are out of our way. Sydney traffic, Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet, lining up for takeoff runway 07 via Golf 1, Sydney traffic. Okay. So we do have now another aircraft here. Nobody announced that they are on final. And here we are. Okay, we are all lined up, and with that we are pretty much ready to go. Let's start the clock. 50%. Manflex 64 SRS runway auto thrust blue. 100 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Nice views on the takeoff. Sydney. Absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice. This is possibly part of the World Update Oceania, but I have to say it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks really, really good. Okay, set climb thrust, follow the flight directors. And from here we are on our own. Sydney traffic, Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet is airborne out of runway 07. Sydney traffic. Okay. Flaps up. Spoilers disarmed. And we can switch on the autopilot as well. And then from there we are going direct to Cowley. Search. Going through the clouds now, so we are not able to see anything down here. Okay, seems like there is an aircraft in front of us. Is there? No, there isn't. Okay, that's fine then. Let's switch on the traffic as well. beautiful here above the clouds. There is this okay, we are above the transition level now, so altimeter set to standard, set start accelerating towards our climb speed, and we can switch off the landing lights as well. Okay, and with that we are on our way to Christchurch, New Zealand. Seatbelt sign can come off as well. Okay, so all we can do now is sit back, relax. Most of this route is over the ocean, so there isn't a whole lot to see down here. So all we can do is sit back and read a magazine and enjoy the in-flight entertainment and some catering. I will see you when it is time to do our briefing for our arrival. Okay, we are fast approaching our top of descent. I think now it's time to approach our briefing. As you can see, we are 200 nautical miles from Vanda, and thereafter we will have our top of descent. So let's quickly just have a look at the approach that we are going to take today. Runway 20 is still what we are going to do. ILS 20 via the Bele 6 Bravo with the Vanda transition. I've just pulled some of the charts here. We are coming in through Vanda, and then Bele 6 Bravo, continue Avoca, and then 6 Bravo branches out to the left. 7,000 feet is going to be our initial target altitude on the descent, and then we continue on to 4,000 and then 3,000 by Odyssey, which is going to be our initial approach fix. Then after that we are going to follow the approach, which is the ILS I don't know why this chart doesn't want to go into dark mode, but as you can see, there's Odyssey. 2,000 feet is the altitude that we are going to intercept the glide slope, and thereby from there we just follow the localizer onto the runway 20. Minimum decision altitude 200, minimum descent altitude 293 feet, which we can already put in here as well. Okay, 293. It's going to be in our barrow. And then next thing we check is the transition level is 13,000 feet. 130, or is it? Okay, let's keep it at 150, which is the upper layer, and then we can go ahead and look at the weather. Currently 270 degrees, 10 knots. Variable, of course. Few clouds at 4,200, scattered at 10,000. Temperature 7, very cold. QNH 1019. QNH 1019. 7 degrees. And then wind is 270, 10 knots. 270 degrees at 10 knots. This is going to be possibly a challenging approach. We have got a 10 knot crosswind actually, so all of the 10 knot is actually a crosswind and a headwind of 3 knots only, so that is rather, it's going to be rather challenging. I like that this FMS shows you the wind, how much of it is the headwind component and how much of it is the crosswind component. I always used to look at this through the Navigraph app, but it's quite a nice touch that this FMS has it. Okay, and with all of that data, we are looking at approach speed of 135 knots. Okay, very good. So we're going to keep the charts on the OIT here, and that frees up the FMS of the EFB over here for other things. Okay, that is pretty much our approach briefing done. The next thing we need to do is to do the brake to vacate, which is Christchurch, and we say display the airport. We can probably, let's see here, Navigraph. We try to vacate by, we have a proper airport charge. There must be one here. Okay, so runway 20 coming through there. There is only one gate that I could find on the internet that says that it's big enough for an A380, which I'm guessing is the one that Emirates uses, which is gate number 34, which is somewhere on the side of the airport. But if we can vacate by here, that would probably be best, but I have some doubts. Let's see. We are now here, runway 20. So it looks like this is dry. Of course, that should be nice, but I think it should be okay, because the problem is there are no reports of showers or anything like that, so that should be fine. We are going to target to vacate by Echo 5, and that should be our brake to vacate set up. So we come through Alpha 5, and then we continue, take a right hand turn, and we go to stand number 34. Okay. Alright, so that is our approach briefing done. This information, of course, we're going to need to update it, but that should be in order. Okay, so I will see you at the top of descent. Okay, we passed our top of descent, so 10,000 feet. It's going to be our target altitude. And there we have it. And as you can see, at top of descent markers there, it looks like we're going to make it by RIVB, which is an altitude constraint where you should be above 10,000 feet, so that is all good. And there is New Zealand terrain just below the clouds, so hopefully we can break out of the clouds and then we can enjoy some nice scenery outside.
And folks, on the flight deck, we start our descent out into Queenstown. Don't worry, if you're still asleep, you won't feel the landing at all. So, flight attendant, please touch cabin for arrival.
Okay, it looks like we have way too much energy, so we are going to speed up the descent using the speed brake, and I'll pass through the transition altitude QNH 1019 that we are going to set on the backup instrument as well. And there we have it, almost 10,000 feet very soon. And we still have a couple of clouds in front of us. I'm hoping that we will break out very soon. It does say that visibility is quite good at Christchurch, so yeah, I'm hoping that weather is correct at least. Okay, coming up on 10,000 feet, so we can then switch on the seatbelt sign already, and then we can switch on the landing light as soon as we level at 10,000 feet. And there we have 10,000 feet coming up, and we are going to have to decelerate to 250 knots now. It seems like approach mode is already armed for some reason, but let's see, have we gone past our initial approach fix? We have not. Okay, that's fine then, but we are going to keep at 250 knots as the speed so that we don't slow down too much. Landing light can come on. Okay, 7,000 feet by Charlie Hotel 42. I think now it's time to slow down as well, so we can go back to manage speed and we can start descending to 4,000 feet as well. 4,000 feet. Okay, approach checklist. Parameters QNH 1019 set for both. Minimums are set. Auto brake. Brake to vacate. Set. Approach checklist complete. So there we go. We can go flaps 1 now. and then we can continue our descent to Updoor, 4,000 feet. Okay, reach the S speed. You have to go all the way down to 2,000 feet to intercept the glide slope. We're going to switch on the landing system now, and we are receiving both the localizer and the glide slopes. Okay, it says that we are way above the profile. I think now it's time to go flaps 2. Possibly use a little bit of the speed brake as well. And then we can arm the spoilers. 4,000, now we're going to go all the way to 2,000. There is a possibility that we might want to go through the localizer, but I think it can be okay. I think I'll continue on the heading of 085 just until the glide slope comes up or close. This was of course there was of course a discontinuity here, meaning that we need to vector ourselves. So you go gear down, flaps 3, okay, there's the glide slope going up, which is good. They go lock. Okay, going to continue the turn. And just go direct or DC. Insert that. Something strange going on there. Going to continue the turn by ourselves because the aircraft overshot the direct to Odyssey. We have localizer armed, of course, but just pull the approach chart here. I think we should have intercepted the localizer by now. We are in the localizer pretty much. But let's see, we go direct Dipsu. Brought the gear down there, we have lock star. So as soon as glide slope starts moving, then we go into set flaps full. Yeah, we can just do it already. Then we can stabilize the approach nice and early. And then we can announce ourselves on the network. Christchurch traffic, Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet is on the ILS for runway 20. Christchurch traffic. So let's look at the chart. Okay, there we go. We already the approach checklist. Flaps are full. We are on the localizer, configured nice and early. We have the chance to enjoy some views outside. Okay, there is the glide slope coming. Better get ready to catch it. There we have it. Approach mode is armed. And we have glide slope star. Okay, go around. The altitude is 4,000 feet. As soon as we start descending, or we are descending now already, so we can set 4,000 feet, which is our go around altitude for today. Okay, landing checklist. Seatbelt sign on, landing gear down, spoilers armed, flaps full. Need to set landing lights on for the nose wheel, and landing checklist complete. Okay, we are on the ILS. And we are nice and stable. Brake to vacate is set up. Okay. Christchurch traffic, Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet on the ILS, short final for ILS runway 20, 3 miles. Okay.
1,000.
Checked. I think now is the time to remove the autopilot and start hand flying the rest of the way in. A little bit too low. Correcting that. This aircraft, you really want to use as little input as possible on the stick.
$400.
Land.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20. Retard. 5.
There we go. Brake to vacate is active. Full reversers. knots. And we are at Alpha 5, where we are supposed to vacate.
Auto brake off.
Okay, I believe we turn off to the left hand side. We don't have a taxi chart for the A380 for this airport, so I'm not sure whether there's any restrictions on the taxiways here. Perhaps seeing that there's only one gate for the A380 anyway, and there are very few taxiways. In any case, that should be fine. Clear right side, clear left side, then we have to turn here to the left. Christchurch traffic, Emirates 34 Hotel Juliet, vacated runway 20, Christchurch traffic. Okay, now we look for gate 34. Landing lights off, taxi light on, strobe light off, APU start, spoilers disarm, flaps up. Okay, I'm going to ask for gate number 34.
The chosen position is too small for your aircraft.
It is not too small. And we can stop the clock as well. Shows that it's been 4 hours, but it's actually been an hour. Rather 3 hours. So one of the hours the sim was paused for a bit there. It looks like the clock doesn't stop while the flight is paused. Okay, Christchurch traffic, Emirates 4 Hotel Juliet is taxiing to stand 34 via Alpha and Alpha 15 Christchurch traffic. There we have it. Okay, it's the very last parking on this side of the airport. So it's 30 right, then 31, 32, 33, and then 34. Okay, we can go on to surveillance as well. TCAS can go into standby. And then we just taxi to our parking. 34 and 35. I don't see anybody waiting for us, So 34 is okay, it's the one on the right hand side. So we are going to have to turn here. Lights off while turning into the gate. Okay, let's see if we are going to get it right. That was the 9th turn. Can actually see the person behind, but that is fine. We are going to stop here, set parking brake, and we are good to go. Spoilers are up, spoilers are disarmed, flaps are up, APU is started. We can switch on the APU bleed. Wing light can come off as well now that we are at the gate, and with that we are ready to switch off the engines. So engines 3, 4, 2 and 1 can come off. Welcome back to Christchurch, New Zealand. Nice short flight in the A380 with Emirates today. Think all is in order. We can do the parking checklist. Parking brakes set, engines are off, wing light is off, fuel pumps. Let's switch off the fuel pumps. Fuel pumps. Many fuel pumps. All off, and beacon light is off. Seatbelt sign is off, and we can start the boarding process. While we are here, we can open the doors as well. For the cargo, and the ones for the jetway will open automatically. Okay, TCAS can go on to standby, or transponder can go on to standby. We can switch off the nav or the radio, and with that we can begin deboarding
the boarding starting.
Passengers. Okay, that is pretty much it. We can connect to the external power. It is rather cold in this place, so I'm going to leave the APU on with the APU bleed for the air conditioning while deboarding the passengers. And then that's all good. Okay, let's have a look outside. This is one of the most beautiful airport sceneries in the simulator, that is quite light on the performance as well. I think it's quite well optimized, so really minimizes a lot of those stutters, especially when you are on final approach. It is quite detailed. One of the most detailed airports I've seen in the flight simulator as well. If you remember from our previous flight, even inside the terminals they have rendered inside, and the announcements as well. So if you haven't watched those those flights rather, you can just go back and watch them. So really beautiful airport. This Bayway scenery, of course, but I think it's well worth it. Okay, there is the cargo being offloaded, and the passengers are going through the jetway. onto the terminal. So all we can do now is just wait for the deboarding to complete and the cargo to be offloaded, and then we can switch off the aircraft and call it a day. Okay, passengers are all deboarded, cargo is all offloaded as well. If you can have a look outside, everything is pretty much done here. So we can switch off the APU bleed and the APU as well. Nav light can come off. Then we can secure the aircraft. Emergency exit lighting off. Mobile phone sign off. Then crew oxygen supply off as well. ADRs can go back to off. And then we can do the securing the aircraft checklist. Oxygen off, emergency exit light off, EFBs we can switch off as well, but we can say operate the jetways for GSX to detach the jetway so that we can close the door. Okay, while that is happening, we can have a look at the APU, which is coming down. So we can switch off the EFBs. I don't know how to switch off this one. This one, I don't know if it has an off button. It should have been somewhere here, but I am not sure now on this aircraft. I think in the A320 the button is somewhere here, or the switch rather. But I guess you can always just switch it off here. This one off as well. So EFBs are off. Then we can switch off the batteries and then the checklist will be complete. So batteries off, and then external power off. Okay, and with that we have come to the end of the another flight in the Airbus A380. This was a rather short one, but it was quite enjoyable, especially on the approach. So it was a shame that we didn't have any VATSIM controllers online today, but we'll try again next time. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next one.